My son's teacher said he was cheating, but the truth got her fired. I got the email from Mrs. Sullivan at 3 p.m. on a Thursday. We need to discuss Noah's academic dishonesty. Please schedule a meeting immediately. My stomach dropped. Noah was in 5th grade and had never been in trouble. He was quiet, got decent grades, never caused problems. Academic dishonesty? That didn't sound like my kid at all. I called the school and scheduled a meeting for the next morning. That night at dinner, I asked Noah about it. He looked confused. I don't know what she's talking about, Dad. I haven't cheated on anything. His eyes were genuinely bewildered, not defensive or guilty. I believed him, but I also knew teachers don't make these accusations lightly. The next morning, I sat across from Mrs. Sullivan in her classroom. She had Noah's last 3 math tests spread out on her desk, each one marked with a big red F. But Noah's report card showed he had a B in math. These are all failures, she said, tapping the papers. Yet somehow, his online test scores are perfect. Every single one. He's clearly having someone else take his online assessments. I looked at the papers. The handwriting was messy, answers were wrong, work wasn't shown properly. Then I looked at the online grade report she pulled up. Perfect scores on every digital assignment and test. Mrs. Sullivan continued. I've been teaching for 15 years. I know cheating when I see it. Noah is either having an older sibling take his tests at home, or he's looking up answers. I'm recommending he be placed on academic probation, and all his online test scores be invalidated. His grade would drop to a D. I felt my face getting hot. Before we do that, I'd like to understand why there's such a difference. Can I see both tests? She hesitated, then pulled up his online tests on her computer. I leaned in and started reading the questions. Then I noticed something. Mrs. Sullivan, these online tests are completely different from the paper ones. She frowned. Of course they are. I create different versions to prevent cheating. I shook my head. No, I mean the difficulty level. These paper tests have 6th and 7th grade math problems. The online ones are 5th grade standard curriculum. Her face went slightly pale. I pulled out my phone and opened the state education website. I'd done my research last night. According to 5th grade standards, students should be working on fractions, decimals, and basic geometry. These paper tests have algebraic equations and advanced problem solving that isn't introduced until next year. Mrs. Sullivan snatched the papers back. I teach advanced concepts to prepare them for middle school, but you're grading them on material they haven't been taught yet, I said slowly, and then accusing them of cheating when they do well on grade-appropriate tests. How many other kids are failing your paper tests but passing online? Her silence was deafening. I went directly to Principal Hayes' office. He was hesitant at first, but when I showed him the state curriculum standards versus Mrs. Sullivan's paper tests, his expression changed. He pulled up the class data. Out of 24 students in Noah's class, 19 were failing Mrs. Sullivan's paper tests, but the class average on online assessments was 87%. Principal Hayes asked to see her lesson plans. She couldn't produce any that aligned with state standards. Her teaching materials were all borrowed from middle school curriculums. She'd been teaching 6th and 7th grade content to 5th graders all year, then acting shocked when they struggled. But here's where it got worse. Principal Hayes pulled her teaching credentials. Mrs. Sullivan wasn't certified to teach 5th grade math. She was certified for middle school mathematics and had been placed in elementary due to staffing shortages. She'd never adjusted her teaching style or content for the younger students. The principal found complaints from 3 other parents that year about their kids suddenly struggling in math. Mrs. Sullivan had told each of them their child was either lazy or cheating. She'd created a system where she taught above grade level, students failed, and then she blamed them instead of adjusting her approach. Principal Hayes placed her on immediate administrative leave. 2 weeks later, the school board held a meeting. Parents came forward with similar stories. One mother had paid for private tutoring all year because Mrs. Sullivan convinced her that her daughter was behind. Another father had grounded his son for months over failing grades. The board reviewed all of Mrs. Sullivan's tests and grade distributions. Every class she'd taught had abnormally high failure rates on in-class assessments, but strong performance on standardized tests. She was fired 3 weeks later for gross negligence and misrepresenting student abilities. Noah's grades were corrected retroactively. His B became an A when they removed the inappropriate test scores, but the confidence damage took longer to fix. He'd spent months thinking he was bad at math, that he was stupid. It took weeks of reassurance before he stopped apologizing every time he got a problem wrong. The school brought in a proper 5th grade math teacher who started from the beginning. Within a month, Noah was thriving again. Mrs. Sullivan never apologized. Not to Noah, not to the other students, not to the parents she'd convinced their kids were failures, but at least she couldn't hurt any more students with her ego.